Will Manso is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop hundreds of Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Will Manso, sports director at Local 10 here in Miami. He is also on Dame Watch, and I imagine he's ready to hear something just as we are. Although I would ask you, Will, to start off here, is it Damian Lillard or the Miami Marlins that have the majority of your attention right now?
You know, I think because we're all kind of on wait and see on Dame, that it's the Miami Marlins, because I think there's really no drama in the Lillard chase being that he wants to be here. It's just a matter of, okay, is this going to get done? Now we're waiting. How does it happen? I think the Marlins just playing daily and they keep winning. They come back after getting beat up by the Braves. You're thinking, okay, maybe they get humbled a bit. They win 2 in a row. They come back the first day. They win yesterday on 4th of July. They're a fun team to follow. They're playing great baseball.
And Will, speaking of Dame, because the timing of it we were talking about earlier, where the Heat want to get this done, but I don't believe Portland, or honestly, I don't think Dame is worried about the time frame of choosing a team or the trade and all that. Do you think anybody's in a rush?
No. I'll be honest with you, Jamie. I don't think the Heat are in a rush, because I think the Heat signaled to everyone as the offseason opened that this was the chase. After not really going all in on Bradley Beal, I think people were like, well, wait a minute, why wouldn't they go after Bradley Beal? He's there, he wants to be here, he's on the list too, blah blah blah. I think it was clear that they were like, look, what are we going to do? We're going to make significant moves elsewhere? No, we're going to wait and see. They've already filled some spots with really nice players at veteran minimums to get a J. Rich, to get a Thomas Bryant, to make moves like that, I think are solid moves. And now they just kind of sit and wait, and however long this takes. But again, being that he has a one-team list, it's much less stressful than even 2-3 teams where you can get beat out by somebody else.
Well, do you get nervous at all that it drags on a little bit? Because obviously, we're all acutely aware down here that there's this building national narrative that Portland is going to be forced to accept a lesser deal because the Miami Heat don't have to offer what other teams do. And I think we all know that that's untrue, but there seems to be this building narrative. And so then you wonder, okay, Portland doesn't want to look like they gave away arguably the greatest player in Blazers history. You can make the case for Clyde Drexler. It's probably for a different show, maybe Bill Walton. But regardless, they don't want to look like they gave away the potentially the best player in Blazers history for a deal when they could have gotten better elsewhere. So do you start to get it all nervous that, hey, this is dragging on, maybe something is not in line?
I don't, because to me, there are 2 elements in play here. And you said it about Portland's angle. Like, Portland's not going to come out and say immediately, right, and say, Damian Lillard's requested a trade. We love him. He's been great. We're going to move him as fast as possible, and we'll send him exactly where he wants to go. Like, you can't, as an ownership group, as a front office, do that, knowing that, hey, you need assets. You need something in return. Whatever little leverage they have, which is not much when a guy says he wants to go to just one place, you've got to wait. So on their end, they're not going to spend big free agent money. They don't have it. They're not in a position to go out and sign big free agents. So you might as well play it out, see what does come through with Miami, whatever the mechanisms are, 3, 4, 5 teams, whatever it may be. And at the same time, when it's done, they could sit there and say, hey, look, we did our best. I think you owe it to your franchise, to their fans, to say we tried. Whereas if you do it in 48 hours right after an announcement, it looks like you just gave away your best player, like you said, one of the best in franchise history, for nothing. And I don't think they could do that. But again, from the Heat's perspective, they're in line. They got everything lined up ready just for this. And when that call comes and everything's in place, they'll be ready to do it. And I think that's the direction I think everyone thinks it's going. Now, nationally, it's different because everybody loves to hate the Heat. Nobody wants to mention that Bradley Beal got traded for. They didn't even get a first-round pick for him and giving away their franchise player. No one mentions that when it's Phoenix. No one mentions any of that stuff when a James Harden goes where he wants to go. But when it's the Heat, it's always an issue. It's just the way it is.
And Will, speaking of the decision the Heat made, tomorrow at noon, the free agent, window opens, and Oladipo and Strus are, probably gone. And then Gabe Vincent, LeBron already came and messed over Pat for a 3rd or 4th time in his life by taking Gabe Vincent. Do you question any of these decisions that the Heat made on last year's roster?
I don't for the simple reason that, look, I like last year where I remember talking to people before the end of the season and PJ was intent on leaving, and then people were like, maybe they keep PJ, and that it was clearly not going in that direction. A lot of the same things were being said here. Even while Max and Gabe were being great in the playoff run, there was an understanding that these guys deservedly are going to get paid, and the Heat are not in a position to do that when your goal, let me rephrase that, when your goal is to get a superstar, right? Another superstar. If you want to run it back and you want to pay the tax and you want to do all that stuff, great, but that was never the Heat's intention. Their intention is to get a superstar. That's always been the way they've been lurking, and it has failed the last few years. Look, since Jimmy, they've tried. We know there's been a couple that have failed, including KD, but in this case, they are ready. So they kind of knew. To me, it was like, go get paid, guys. These guys, first of all, such great guys, such a big help in that run, work so hard to grind. We know the story, undrafted at this point. When you can get $64 million and another guy gets 33, man, all you can do is just say, congratulations, you've worked for it, you've earned it, and go do great somewhere else.
Will, a trio of Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo, if this ends up going through, and then, you kind of fill out the roster with what we're expecting to be veteran minimum contracts, guys who want to come play here. Is that the best team in the Eastern Conference right now? I know it hasn't even happened yet, but is that the best team in the Eastern Conference?
I mean, the Heat were the best team in the Eastern Conference playoffs last year, right? And they didn't have Tyler Hero, who could end up being the centerpiece of this deal in some way, right? And they didn't even get to use him. He played literally a half of the playoffs, one half of a game in the playoffs. So to answer your question, given that they've been to, 3 of the last 4, 2 of the last 4 finals, could have been 3 of the last 4 finals, representing the East, I think it's pretty clear that the way this team is structured, with Jimmy and Bam as a 1-2, with Eric Spoelstra being able to pull the strings and do what he does with whatever roster he gets, that this is the best team in the Eastern Conference. They've shown it the last few years. So you add a Damian Lillard, I don't see how you can't say that. Milwaukee made a big move to keep Brook Lopez. And Boston's still going to obviously be a good team, even with the Marcus Smart change. They're trying to change up the dynamic a bit. But to me, the Heat's already been the best team in the last 4 years. Now you get a Damian Lillard. How can you say they're not? I mean, only national media, in my opinion, can say that. And again, it's because they hate the Heat.
I'll ask you just for bleeps and giggles here, because Solana, Crowder and I seem to, I'm going to go to the West here. Crowder and I seem to dub the Lakers champions anytime they make any sort of maneuver. They got Russell Westbrook and we crowned their ass, and that didn't seem to work out well. Solana's making fun of me and Crowder because I was like, wow, Lakers have put together a great roster here. You had Gabe Vincent, and I kind of feel like they're now in play. And Solana's like, you guys are getting fooled again. This is a trash team. Where do you stand on the Lakers in the West? Not
a trash team, Will. I just don't think
I do go there.
that they made up enough ground to go from being swept by Denver to now being the favorites in the West, which is what Hoch and Crowder were crowning them.
We didn't exactly say that they're the favorites in the West, but Solana, to paraphrase, said adding a trash player like Gabe Vincent doesn't help the cause.
Hey, no.
Oh, boy, I'm staying on this one.
I did not say that, Will. I did not say that.
I'm paraphrasing.
Okay. Here's taking those not so specific facts and paraphrasing. I'll say this: Lakers to me are always dangerous when you have LeBron and AD. To me, it's always the health of AD. Can AD stay healthy? LeBron's still great. They add pieces. Last year, they made a surprise run to a lot of people, sort of like the Heat, but they fell short. I think the issue in the West is that somebody's got to figure out how you stop Jokic, and he's only getting better somehow. And then Jamal Murray's turned into a stud. That's still a dangerous team. Plus, you still have the Warriors that kept their thing together. They're still going to be good. The West is just very deep and dangerous. So could a LeBron AD healthy team with pieces like Gabe and these other guys they've been getting? Sure, they can be dangerous, but I don't think they're like, okay, they're the team out of the West going into the season. No, I don't think so.
And speaking of acquisitions, Will, last year with the Boston Celtics, I was kind of scared of Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm, I don't even know his first name. He was so terrible. Now, Will, they killed me because I'm a little worried about Kristaps Porzingis being there now. Did they get much better with adding Porzingis?
I don't think so. I think they had to do it, Jenny, because of the Marcus Smart stuff. Again, sometimes the team gets stale. I feel like that team may be getting stale, the roster, like they needed something to go around with Tatum and Brown. Porzingis is a very skilled player. He's a unique player, obviously. But, I mean, the Heat have done very well against him. They haven't had issues against him. I think he also has some injury concerns year to year. Can he stay healthy a full season and be that kind of player? obviously he is a nice piece to add, but I don't think it's scary. I don't think, again, it's not like getting Lillard going to the Heat or wherever he ended up going, but in this case, it looks like the Heat. That's a scary move because you're getting one of the best players in the NBA, not just now, but historically on your team. So it's different for a guy like Porzingis, who's a very, very good player, but I don't think he's a guy you game plan and get scared for.
I think we just came up with a great new game show here because Solana, we have a little chat, because we watch each other on video. Crowder happens to be in Los Angeles. He is embedded in the Gabe Vincent story, so he's going wherever he goes. Crowder's in Los Angeles. Solana's in the studio. I'm at home in Boca. But we have a little chat that's open, and Solana just sent this chat. Next question, is Marc Gasol a Hall of Famer? Which is a stupid conversation we've had. But I think we may have just stumbled into a good game show here where I get to write whenever we have a guest on, Crowder, I get to write one of your questions. You have to read it word for word. Solana gets to write one of my questions. You get to write one of Solana's questions.
I'm down.
But you have to determine before the interview who gets it this particular. We can't do it, for each interview, everybody gets it. It would just be somebody's coming on. Okay, Solana on the fourth question, just be for the listeners, will be feeding this question to Crowder. But Crowder, you have no idea what the question's going to be till it pops up there because I came very close to asking you, Will, if Marc Gasol was Hall of Fame.
The only question I can answer right now is Channing's out. He's out in California because he wants to go down. He wants to go see Jaime Jaquez. Go to Sacramento and see that young star. That's a future Hall of Famer right there.
What can you tell everybody who you're going to be talking to while you're in LA for the pivot, or we need to keep it under wraps?
I try to give hints. One of the guy's last name is Vliet.
That's a hell of a hint.
I'm not good with hints, Will.
You don't say.
And another individual's nickname keeps drinks cold.
And that's a good hint. That's very good. Yeah. Might have something to do with
the. That was bad. That was pretty good.
I mean, he does the media rounds this time of year, so if you know, you know.
Well, first I'm camping out outside of Gabe Vincent's house. You know why I'm here.
Of course. Let him know. Solana did not appreciate anything he did for the Heat during his stop here.
Oh gosh.
Do you watch Will Manso from Local 10 is with us? Do you watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest yesterday? Does that interest you every year?
It doesn't. I mean, I watched the highlights of it, but yesterday I sat on the beach with a big case of rum and beer at 10 a.m. and I didn't leave till 9. So I didn't watch any TV or any social media yesterday. So I got back in. I saw those highlights. I saw the Marlins win, which was good, kick butt. That was fun. But no, I did not. Though I do find it disgusting, revolting, but interesting.
Right, like revolting, disgusting in kind of a sexy way.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's nothing sexier than Joey Chestnut eating hot dogs. I mean,
throwing down glizzies. Go. Are you a big fireworks guy? Solana Crowder's a fireworks guy. I know this because he was lighting off fireworks at my house several years ago. Solana's dad goes and spends thousands of dollars on fireworks. Are you a fireworks guy?
So I embarrassed myself because I wanted to be the cool dad and get fireworks, but I'm not. I don't go to like the illegal stores and buy stuff, or I don't buy So yesterday I said to my wife, I said, "So stop by Publix and get some fireworks." So we're all drinking, having fun, and at the end we say, "Okay, now it's getting dark. Let's light some fireworks, right?" So we light them, and it's the lamest fireworks display. I was like the typical dad, like, "Hey, watch this one. Check it out." It's like basically sparklers on the ground going up like a foot and a half. And my friends are there thinking, like, this is the crap you brought on. No, trust me, this one's really good because it's really big, but it's even worse somehow. So I did not do well with fireworks yesterday. Don't go to, it's nothing against Publix, but don't go to Publix for fireworks.
Solana told us that at the beginning of the show today. Solana thought that he was going to be Mr. Fireworks guy, but the person who brought the fireworks got him from Publix. And he said they don't even go in the air. They just kind of sit there.
They put they're they're a foot high. They put them in a big packaging to make it look like you're setting off weapons of war, but they really are just little things that go up a foot in the sky. On top of that, then our display, I love fireworks, but our display was a drone display. Miami Beach over in like the North Beach area had a drone, which was really cool, but I didn't know that. So I'm waiting for stuff to start blowing up, and it's drone stuff like in the sky. So it was cool, very interesting. I just wasn't ready for it.
Hey, Will, let me tell you, go to the back of the Home Depot parking lot. That's where the best fireworks are purchased.
There you go. Next year, I was just going to go to Hialeah, but that sounds good to me. Maybe I'll just go to the Home Depot in Hialeah. I'll just go there and go to the back parking lot because
you might also see me meeting. You might see me meeting with my bookie in the back of the Home Depot parking lot. I've been known to use that as a meetup place. Yeah,
I need to redeem myself after the embarrassment of last night. Next year,
Solana, you can get a good glizzy at the Home Depot.
At the Home Depot,
they got the little glizzy stand right when you walk in.
No, there they sell the arepa, odo, shish kebab, agua.
Shish kebab, agua. All right, Will Manso from Local 10. Thank you, Will.
Anytime, guys. We'll talk soon.
There you go. Will Manso from Local 10. Take a break here. We got a lot to get to still, so do not go anywhere.